Chapter 31, Fighting for the Popularity. You are listening at novelfull.audio. June 9th. The 300th college entrance examination in the new calendar has ended, the national rankings are out, everyone is paying attention to this list. The national rankings only display the results of the top 1,000 in the country. Of course, this list does not represent the 1,000 strongest students in Long Kingdom this year, because there are still many outstanding students who have been recommended to the 4 major universities before the college entrance examination. Xuan is also browsing the list. Ranked first in the country, Yi Chen, with a score of 750, plus 99 points and a clearance speed of 5 minutes and 31 seconds, ranked second in the country, Wen Xiu, with a score of 750, plus 98, and a clearance speed of 5 minutes and 43 seconds, ranked third in the country, Yi Xiaoshuang, with a score of 750, plus 97 points and a clearance speed of 5 minutes and 59 seconds, ranked 10th in the country, Qi Yun, with a score of 749, plus 90, and a clearance speed of 7 minutes and 20 seconds, national ranking 983, Zhang, score 702, plus 41, clearance speed 64 minutes and 59 seconds. The gap is really huge. Seeing the gap in rankings, Xuan couldn't help but sigh. The top few students with perfect scores were competing for speed, and whoever ran faster would get first place. Although Zhang has done very well, the accumulated gap cannot be eliminated overnight. If it were his second apprentice Li Xiaoli who grew up to this age, he might have a chance to compete with those at the top. Young people are terrible. Xuan felt that even if he went into battle in person, it would take at least 1 minute to clear the level. It seems that we need to urge the disciples to continue working hard and strive to find the third child as soon as possible, otherwise they will be caught up by this group of young people sooner or later. Boom, boom, boom. While thinking, there was a knock on the door. Who? Xuan didn't dare to open the door. Since yesterday's interview, he now doesn't even dare to go to class. As soon as they arrived at the work unit, those old ladies and old men came to the door one by one carrying eggs and vegetables to plead with their grandchildren, asking Xuan to accept them as disciples. There are even beautiful young women engaging in body temptations. Xuan was not a veteran cadre and could not withstand such a test, so he simply asked for leave and hid at home. Lao Zhao, who took over for him, was very happy and told Xuan to have a good rest. Old Zhao Hao made a grand statement that if he wants to regain his middle-aged glory, he will bear all the pain. Master. Zhang Mu's voice came from outside the door. People from the admissions offices of the 4 universities are here and want to discuss it with you. Xuan then opened the door. Zhang Mu and 4 strange figures stood outside the door. Hello, Mr. Su, I am Xiang Wentian, assistant to the admissions office of Dinghai University. Assistant of the admissions office of Xianhuang University, Lu Kuan. Assistant of the admissions office of Beifeng University, Yan Ling. Longdu Academy, Yun Xian. All 4 said hello. Xuan responded with a smile and greeted several people into the house. In the small room, 6 people were crowded together, which seemed a bit crowded. Yun Xian from Longdu Academy spoke first. Mr. Su, you should be very clear about the purpose of our coming. You know the strength of our Longdu Academy. Sending Zhang Mu to our school is the best choice. Xiang Wentian also said, Mr. Su, although our Dinghai University ranks behind Longdu University, the teaching staff of our institution is not worse than theirs. Moreover, Shui Yueho, the legendary figure in Qingzhou City, also chose Dinghai University. If Zhang Mu chooses our school, given time, he will definitely become the second powerful man in Qingzhou City to be granted a title. Beifeng Academy and Xianhuang Academy also expressed their sincerity. Xuan smiled. You guys just tell me the conditions and let Zhang Mu make his own choice. As the master, I don't want to interfere too much. Xuan knew that everyone in the admissions office was talented and could save money if he could. If you don't force them, they don't want to get good things out. After a while, Yan Ling took the lead in setting out the conditions. Beifeng University can waive Zhang Mu's tuition for 4 years, and at the same time provide him with 1 year of basic training resources, as well as a Tianhe-level physical skill or technique for free. Xianhuang University can add 1 year of basic training resources to Beifeng University. The conditions of Dinghai University are the same as those of Beifeng University. All three universities have given conditions. Yun Xian didn't say anything. She looked Su Xian up and down. After confirming that Su Xian was only in the starry realm, she felt a little more disdainful. She really couldn't understand why the teacher would let her pay special attention to this kind of person. The highest enrollment price is also given. And you? Su Xian stared at her. From the moment Yun Xian walked in, he felt Yun Xian's hostility, and he didn't know if he had a conflict with this woman. Yun Xian spoke calmly. Before I came, the teacher specifically told me that Zhang Mu could be given the highest standard of enrollment resources. That means free tuition for 4 years, free basic training resources for 4 years, and a feudal level technique. Her conditions poured cold water on the other three. Just when the three of them thought that this trip was going to be ruined, Yun Xian suddenly changed the subject and her tone became much harsher. But I have a personal condition. The hostility in her eyes was no longer concealed. Su Xian still had a faint smile on his face. What are the conditions? Yun Xian said coldly. I want you to terminate the master-disciple relationship with Zhang Mu. Your strength is no longer qualified to be Zhang Mu's teacher. In the future, he will enter Longdu. Get out of here. Before she finished speaking, Yun Xian was interrupted by a roar. Several people turned their heads and saw Zhang Mu with his eyes wide open and a murderous aura. He pointed at Yun Xian's nose and cursed, Who do you think you are? What qualifications do you have to insult my master? For people like you, what's wrong with Longdu Academy? Even if you give me a god-level technique, I still don't look down on you. Get out. The other three admissions teachers were stunned. This was the first time they had seen a student who dared to point at the nose of the admissions office of Longdu University and curse. Didn't the information say that Zhang Mu was honest and simple? Let me get out. Today I will teach you a lesson and let you know what it means to respect teachers and respect the way. Yun Xian was furious. As an admissions assistant of Longdu University, she was respected wherever she went to recruit students, and no one dared to ask her to get out. A mere junior dared to offend her. She slapped Zhang Mu with a palm, bang. As soon as the palm was slapped out, Yun Xian felt a strong sense of crisis from the soles of her feet to the top of her head. She looked up and saw Su Xian's cold eyes. Su Xian raised his hand, the light in the ring gathered, and a spiritual arrow shot out. It was the active effect of the epic set Chiman 3-piece set, Puff. Facing the sudden spiritual arrow, Yun Xian had no time to react, and the spiritual arrow directly pierced her right shoulder. The spiritual arrow, which was equivalent to the peak of the Tianhe realm, directly exploded her right hand. It shocked her internal organs. If Su Xian hadn't deliberately missed the target, Yun Xian would have become a corpse now. Su Xian looked down at her. You touch my disciple. Have you got my consent? If you do it again, your heart will end up like your right hand. Get out. The pride on Yun Xian's face disappeared without a trace, replaced by fear and shock. She didn't dare to refute anything and left in disgrace. The other three admissions assistants also looked at Su Xian with fear. They could feel the horror of the previous attack. Although it was fired by the equipment, it didn't matter anymore. Would an ordinary Star Realm person be able to afford such equipment? They would never believe it even if they were beaten to death. After dealing with Yun Xian, Su Xian clapped his hands, turned around and smiled at Yan Ling and the other two. Shall we continue the conversation? Chapter 33. The third brother appears, and another person from Longdu Academy arrives. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next day, Su Xian resigned from his job as a novice secret realm instructor. There is no need to stay in Qingzhou City. Other cities also have secret realms for beginners. With his abilities, people are rushing to get them wherever he goes. Seeing Lao Zhao again, Lao Zhao, who was fishing in troubled waters every day and listless, became energetic after these few days of nourishment. The neck is covered with red marks. When he heard that Su Xian was resigning, Lao Zhao almost cried. Is the beautiful and happy life coming to an end? After bidding farewell to Lao Zhao, painfully, Su Xian was preparing to go back. Outside the door, a pretty girl appeared. Hello, is Su Xian here? The girl's voice was clear and lively, awakening old Zhao's soon-to-be silent soul. His eyes lit up. Old Su, this is the last time, let me do it. Old Zhao looked at the girl and made an inner evaluation. She has an 8-point appearance and a 6-point figure. She is slim, but unfortunately she lives in a flat prairie. He was about to step forward, but was stopped by Su Xian. Su Xian looked at the girl, his eyes flickering. Old Zhao, you can't touch this, let me do it. Lao Zhao was stunned. How do you say this? Of course not. Su Xian fell in love with the girl just because she was the third disciple he was looking for. The eyes of the Divine Master are opened, and the data emerges. Root bone value, 100. Comprehension value, 123. Character value, 91. Compatibility with the secret electrotherapy method, 95%. Su Xian didn't expect that in the last few days before leaving Qingzhou City, he could still find excellent seedlings suitable for electrotherapy. Hello, is Su Xian here? Seeing no one answered, the girl asked again. I'm Su Xian, what's wrong? Su Xian stepped forward. Hello, Mr. Su, my name is Xianyuan Qingqing, from Longdu Academy. I am here to apologize on behalf of the Academy for my previous disrespectful behavior. At the same time, we still want to win you and your disciples into our Longdu Academy. Xianyuan Qingqing speaks too fast, and although she looks very polite, she feels like a communication machine with no emotion, purely to complete the task. Su Xian was slightly surprised. He originally thought that Longdu Academy might come to trouble him later, but he didn't expect that it would come to apologize. This actually made his favorability toward Longdu Academy warmer. Zhang Mu has chosen Dinghai University. Su Xian replied, his character will never change. I'm afraid your trip will be empty. Xianyuan Qingqing smiled lightly. It's okay, I'm here mainly for you, your disciple Zhang Mu is just incidental. Ah, Su Xian was stunned. What's going on? Why did Longdu Academy take a fancy to me? You heard me right, I am indeed here for you. Xianyuan Qingqing said, to be precise, it was the physical skills you taught Zhang Mu that attracted the attention of our school. We hope to get it and exchange it with you for resources of equal value. Of course, it would be best if you could come to our Longdu Academy to teach in person. Su Xian was slightly shocked. Longdu University is worthy of being the #1 university in the world, and indeed Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, thousands of miles away, one can see the extraordinary nature of the physical technique Eaglet Takeoff just from the image, but Su Xian still refused. I'm not very interested in Longdu Academy. He doesn't want to come into contact with some super bosses prematurely yet. If the girl wasn't suitable to be his third apprentice, he wouldn't even bother to discuss it. Facing Su Xian's rejection, Xianyuan Qingqing still maintained a smile and said calmly. It doesn't matter if you're not interested in school. You should be interested in money, right? How much is it? Just make an offer. If you are not interested in money, then tell us what you are interested in, and we are sincere enough to meet your requirements. Su Xian almost blurted out, I'm interested in you. On second thought, I decided to forget it. It's better to be on the safe side when meeting for the first time. The girl in front of her is very balanced in terms of temperament, strength, and understanding. She is not as naive as Zhang Mu, nor as simple as Li Xiaoli, so she has to take her time. Su Xian asked, what I taught Zhang Mu was just a basic silver-level physical technique. Why does Longdu Academy care so much about it? Seeing that Su Xian was unmoved, Xianyuan Qingqing could only reply truthfully, my dad asked me to come on this trip. He is a Sanda master who is well versed in fighting. He has a wish to create a basic physical technique that can help primary and secondary school students across the country stay fit, and the physical technique you taught Zhang Mu inspired him. Su Xian understood. For him, selling Eaglet Takeoff has no impact. Xianyuan Qingqing continued, Dragon Kingdom has spent countless resources on implementing the 12-year compulsory education system. If the physical technique you created can really be applied, then you will be famous in the Dragon Kingdom's merit list for thousands of years and be respected by millions of people. Why not? Su Xian nodded, since you are so sincere, I will trade with you, but my conditions are not simple. You said. Xianyuan Qingqing didn't care. She believed that Longdu Academy could afford Su Xian's conditions. Su Xian smiled and said, help me upgrade a weapon to epic quality. Xianyuan Qingqing was stunned, is it that simple? Maybe it's not simple either. The light flickered, and the Thousand Planes umbrella appeared in Su Xian's hands. This is my weapon. Thousand Chance umbrella? Xianyuan Qingqing asked in surprise, are you a wanderer? Yes. Su Xian said, can Longdu Academy meet my conditions? Xianyuan Qingqing thought for a while and nodded gently, of course, but I don't recommend you to do this. Wanderers have limited achievements, and the rare quality Thousand Chance umbrella is enough. You can propose some more practical conditions. No. Su Xian thought very clearly, a Thousand Chance umbrella is equivalent to 9 epic weapons, and it must be combined into one to ensure flexible switching. The difficulty of forging is no less than that of a legendary weapon. A basic physical skill in exchange for a legendary weapon is still suitable for oneself, and it is enough to earn enough. Then it's up to you. When can we trade? Xianyuan Qingqing just reminded kindly, and didn't persuade much. If it wasn't for asking her father to help her get the alchemical materials she needed, she wouldn't even make this trip. It can be done now. Su Xian took out a scroll and handed it to Xianyuan Qingqing. My physical skill is called Young Eagle Takes Off. I have used my mental power to engrave it in the scroll, and you can check it at any time. Aren't you afraid that I will run away? Xianyuan Qingqing said. No. Su Xian smiled, it's useless for ordinary people to get it. Interesting. Xianyuan Qingqing smiled, I'm curious, did you really create it? In her heart, she didn't quite believe that a jobless person could create a physical skill that shocked her father. Of course. Su Xian asked calmly, I promised you to do it. When can the Thousand Chance umbrella be upgraded for me? You have to go to Longdu with me, at least half a month. Xianyuan Qingqing said, if you believe me, you can also give me the Thousand Chance umbrella. After it is upgraded, I will send it to you. Su Xian thought about it, I'd better go to Longdu with you. Su Xian made this choice for his own reasons. He had to find an opportunity to contact the girl, see what her character was like, and then find an opportunity to accept her as a disciple. From the conversation with the girl just now, he could feel that the girl was a very independent person and would not blindly worship him as her teacher. The best way is to show what can attract the girl. Turn passivity into initiative. Chapter 34, Both Men and Women. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At noon on the third day after the college entrance examination, Su Xian, Xianyuan Qingqing, and Zhang boarded the spaceship to Longdu. The connection between many cities and the Blue Star world is cut off by the wilderness, the ground is polluted to a certain extent, the orbital facilities are destroyed on a large scale, monsters are rampant, and most land transportation vehicles have long been unable to pass normally. The spaceship is the only passenger transportation vehicle on Blue Star. Today, a large spaceship can carry more than 10,000 people, but the cost of the spaceship is high, the loss is amazing, and its ticket is also very expensive. Most people can't even afford the ticket. Professionals below the gold realm, if they don't get into college or have special opportunities, are likely to stay in one city for their entire lives. On the deck of the spaceship, a group of passengers basked in the sun comfortably. Su Xian and Xianyuan Qingqing chatted and laughed, while Zhang stayed in the room to practice alone. Even if it was the first time to take a spaceship, Zhang was still able to suppress his curiosity, endure loneliness, and spend all his energy on practice. Your disciple is really hard-working. He doesn't even want to take a break on the boat. Xianyuan Qingqing smiled. It is because he works hard enough that he can get here step by step. Su Xian has long been accustomed to Zhang efforts. His eyes wandered on the spaceship. The passengers on this spaceship were not only humans, but also elves, orcs, giants and other creatures from the game world. When in Qingzhou City, Su Xian rarely saw races other than humans, and big cities are open to all kinds of people. They are not averse to alien creatures who advocate peace, especially elves, which are beautiful, peaceful and kind. Many people in big cities actively pursue them. The main reason is that the life group structure of the two worlds is very different. The Blue Star world is completely dominated by humans. Except for humans, other creatures do not have too high intelligence. The game world is different. There are many races, but there is no supreme ruler. No race or force has absolute right to speak. The education received by each race is also completely different. This led to huge internal differences at the beginning of the collision between the two worlds. Before the creatures in the game world invaded, the war faction entered the Blue Star world, and the peace faction stopped them. There were even mafia forces on both sides. This gave the Blue Star world a chance to breathe, organize resistance forces, and quickly turn things around after. Becoming familiar with the ability, the two were chatting. An elf in a leaf suit suddenly walked towards this side. She looked at Xuan. "Hello, I am Atana from the elf tribe, can I make friends with you?" Was he approached by an elf? Xuan was a little surprised. He had seen the introduction of the elves in the information. The elves are generally cheerful and don't hide their thoughts. When they see people and things they like, they will take the initiative to negotiate. Of course. Xuan nodded. "My last name is Su, my name is Xian." It's just making friends. He will definitely not refuse, not to mention that he is still a little curious about the elves. Xuan. Atana looked at him with bright eyes and said seriously, "You have a very special attraction. Thank you for your compliment." Xuan was calm on the surface, but he was surprised in his heart. Speaking of special, there are too many special points about him. Atana couldn't tell that he had a system, right? It should be because he had taken the purest marrow cleansing potion, or because of the chaotic body. Xianyuan Qingqing on the side was also quite puzzled. She looked left and right, but couldn't see any special attraction of Xuan. "Are you going to Longdu too?" Atana asked. "Yes. After arriving in Longdu, can I invite you to dinner?" Atana seemed very excited and did not hide her affection for Xuan at all. "Sorry, I may not have time." Xuan declined politely. Although Atana was very beautiful, she was not the kind of person who couldn't walk when she saw a female elf. Xianyuan Qingqing was more and more confused. What was so special about Xuan that could make the elves take the initiative to this extent? Based on her understanding of the elves, there is only one possibility that can make the elves so proactive. That is, this person has something that is particularly attractive to the elves, or this person's physique is extremely special, closer to nature than the elves. It seems that my father's guess is correct. Xuan is indeed not simple. Being rejected by Xuan, Atana was a little disappointed, and forced a friendly smile. "If you have time next time, you can come. I live in the Red Moon Tavern next to Longdu Academy." "Are you from the Red Moon Tavern?" At this time, Xuan had not yet replied, and Xianyuan Qingqing spoke first. "Yes, what's wrong?" Atana smiled and responded. Nothing." Xianyuan Qingqing was about to speak but stopped. In the alchemy project she was studying, one of the important materials came from a type of wine in the Red Moon Tavern, called Holy Moonlight. Only the Red Moon Tavern in the entire Blue Star world has that material. She wanted to ask Atana if she could help get that kind of wine, but after thinking about it, she gave up. It was just a chance encounter, and Atana could not help her. The three chatted for a while. A sturdy male elf suddenly came up and whispered a few words in Atana's ear. Atana's face changed slightly, and then she smiled apologetically at Xuan. "Sorry Xuan, I have something urgent to deal with. I look forward to seeing you again." The sturdy male elf also smiled and cast a kind look at Xuan. "Goodbye." The two elves left in a hurry. Xianyuan Qingqing was dumbfounded. She could understand that Atana had a crush on Xuan. After all, opposites attract. Why was the male elf looking at Xuan so passionately? Her curiosity about Xuan soared rapidly. "What are you doing?" Xuan was startled by Xianyuan Qingqing's eyes. Xianyuan Qingqing licked her lips. "I'm very curious about what you are made of. It's too much to accept both male and female elves. I really want to take a tube of your blood and see how high the fountain of life content is in your blood." Xuan. Is this the fanatical alchemist? He also wanted to give Xianyuan Qingqing an electrotherapy treatment to get rid of the child's alchemy addiction. Otherwise, if I become his apprentice in the future, why don't I think about him as my master's slice study every day? Horrible. Boom. The two were joking when the spacecraft suddenly shook violently. Toot toot. Toot toot. An urgent siren sounded. Dear passengers, please note that our spaceship was attacked by monsters while traveling. The ship will temporarily stop sailing. Next, the combatants will clean up the monsters. Don't panic. Just go back to the cabin and wait for a while. Longdu Flight Group will ensure your personal safety. After hearing the announcement, the passengers on the deck walked back to the cabin calmly. Let's go back to the cabin too, Xuan Qingqing explained. It is very common for a spaceship to be attacked. After all, there are many flying monsters, and there are always those who are blind and want to die. As long as you don't encounter a king-level monster, you will be safe and sound. Boom. Before Xuan Qingqing finished speaking, another loud noise came. Looking up, I saw that the energy shield above the spacecraft had been penetrated at some point. Chapter 35, First Encounter with the Rebels. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Strong winds poured in from the breach, the spaceship shook more and more violently, there were breaths rising from all directions. It's over. I didn't really say that, did I? Xuan Qingqing covered her mouth. Ah. At this moment, there was a commotion inside the cabin. Two powerful breaths rushed up to the sky, and the amazing power lifted up the deck, layers of domain spread, the spaceship was instantly pulled into two completely different worlds, the left side was cold and the right side was scorching, the extreme cold and extreme heat domains collided, and the cabin was torn in half. The passengers inside fled in a hurry. The few people at the center of the domain collision were frozen into ice sculptures or melted into blood. Outside the spaceship, there was also a three-headed sub-dragon staring at it. The breath it exuded was not inferior to the two people in the extreme cold and extreme heat domains. It was obviously also at the level of a marquis. Xuan Qingqing narrowed her eyes and said, the person emitting the extremely cold aura should be the human Marquis Bing Yu Ho who is guarding the spaceship. The one confronting him is Hulang Ho, one of the 12 pillars of the rebel army. Outside is the marquis-level monster three-headed flame dragon. Rebels. The first time Su Xian heard this word was from the three captains of the Qingzhou City Defense Army. At that time, the other party wanted to slander him with the crime of rebels. Later, he looked up information about the rebels. The rebels are a group of human traitors who betrayed Blue Star and yearned for another world. The power structure is intricate and spread all over the world. They usually hide among the masses as ordinary people, and occasionally come out to make trouble and assist the main war faction in the game world to attack Blue Star. The most powerful among the Dragon Kingdom rebels are the 2 kings and 12 pillars, that is, 2 kings and 12 marquises. The one who came today is the fire pillar of the 12 pillars of the rebel army, Hulang Ho. Get ready to jump off the ship. Xuan Qingqing silently took out a pair of mechanical wings and put them on. In her opinion, Bing Yuho would definitely lose in a 1-on-2 situation, and jumping off the ship when the protective shield was broken would be the best choice. At this time, Zhang Mu also ran out of the cabin. Master, are those people rebels? Zhang Mu was frightened by the might of the Fenghe-level collision. Yeah. Su Xian nodded. What's the situation in the cabin? There are also many rebels in the cabin, but they didn't kill people indiscriminately, they just drove them away, and it seems that they have a specific target. Zhang Mu described. Specific target. Su Xian was thoughtful. After all, there are tens of thousands of passengers in the cabin, and the number of rebels is at most 100. If everyone unites as one, they will definitely be able to repel the rebels. The problem is that no one is willing to be the first to step out when it is guaranteed that the rebels will not attack them. Should we go to help? While Su Xian was thinking, Zhang Mu asked very honestly. Xuan Qingqing rolled her eyes. Brother, do you know the consequences of taking action? What strength do we have? The other side has an extra marquis. Don't make a meaningless sacrifice. You have the potential to be a marquis. It's not worth dying here. Let's see the situation again. Su Xian has the trump card left by Shueiyue Ho in his hand. He may not be unable to fight with Feng Ho, provided that someone assists him. Boom. At this moment, the three-headed fire dragon hovering in the sky also took action. Its 3 heads opened their bloody mouths at the same time, and blazing flames spewed out. The 3 flames merged into one and wrapped the protective shield of the spacecraft. Zizizizi. The protective shield only lasted for 3 seconds and shattered with a bang. The strong wind blew into the deck, and some passengers with weaker strength were blown out directly. The rest of the people had difficulty standing. There were only 2 choices left for them, either jump off the spacecraft or return to the cabin to fight the rebels. Most people had the answer in their hearts. In an instant, thousands of passengers spread their mechanical wings and flew downwards. The deck became empty. "Aren't we leaving yet?" Xianyuan Qingqing didn't understand why Su Xian was still staying here. The main force had already left, and even if they went to help now, they would only die. "Wait a little longer." Su Xian looked into the cabin. There was a breath rushing out, and a spirit arrow that pierced the sky suddenly shot into the sky, heading straight for the 3-headed fire dragon in the sky. "Is it that male elf?" Xianyuan Qingqing exclaimed. "But the situation is still not optimistic. That elf seems to have just broken through to the rank of marquis not long ago, and his profession is a shooter. It's too disadvantageous in a one-on-one situation. There is still hope." When Su Xian saw the male elf rushing out, he no longer hesitated and went straight to the cabin. "If you are unlucky after jumping off the spaceship and fall into a densely populated area of monsters in the wilderness, you may also die. It is better to fight here." Xianyuan Qingqing was stunned. "Zhang, has your master always been so brave? Are you panicking?" "My master is super brave." Zhang Mu was calm. "Don't panic at all. If the master takes action, the rebels will definitely lose." Xianyuan Qingqing. "Okay." Facing this master and disciple, she was powerless to complain, but she still kept up with Su Xian's pace. In the cabin, a group of rebels were fighting with the elves. Their target was Atana. "Alas." Su Xian sighed. Since the beginning of the turmoil, he guessed that the rebels' action might be aimed at the elves. As for the specific purpose, it is unclear. It may be to clear obstacles for the war faction in the game world, or it may be to seize the treasures from the elves. After Su Xian entered the cabin, the rebels also noticed him, realizing that Su Xian was only a star realm. The rebels didn't care too much and just sent out 2 sun realm to deal with Su Xian. Su Xian roughly saw the number of people. On both sides of the battle, there were about 100 rebels, including 3 Tianhe realm, 13 sun realm, and the rest were silver moon realm, star realm and gold realm. The elves had very few people, only more than 30 elves in total, and they were struggling to resist. Fortunately, the elves had 2 Tianhe realm, and they could summon would release to resist, so they could still fight for a while. Whoosh. Silver light flashed, a scroll appeared in Su Xian's hand. This was the sun-level summoning scroll he got back when he gave Li Xiaoli the pet contract. The summoning scroll can only be used after the mage changes his job to summoner. The conditions for becoming a summoner are very harsh. It requires a physique that is close to the natural world and space, and a certain understanding of space. If a summoner summons without a summoning scroll, he needs to chant a long spell to communicate with the summoned beast in another space. If there is a summoning scroll, the chanting time can be greatly shortened, but ordinary summoners can only summon 1 realm at most, and it requires a considerable price. Su Xian estimated that the star energy in his body has long exceeded the ordinary starry realm, and the prototype of the chaos body is constantly condensing star energy in his body. It shouldn't be too much to summon a sun-level summoned beast. At this time, 2 sun-level rebels have rushed to the front. Seeing that Su Xian still had the summoning scroll in his hand, the 2 rebels had a playful expression on their faces. A summoner who suddenly chanted? Is he a fool? However, the next second, the expressions of the 2 completely changed. Chapter 36 Summoner Who Attacks the Opponent. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the impression of the 2 rebels, summoners are hiding at the back, and must concentrate on chanting complex and lengthy spells. Summoning a summoned beast beyond one's own realm will make the whole body exhausted, and it will take several days to recover. And the one in front of them, his shoes are blowing in the wind, and he runs fast. He holds the sun-level summoning scroll in his left hand, muttering something in his mouth, and the dangerous light on the ring and bracelet in his right hand flashes. Not only does he not retreat, but he rushes towards them. Is this a fucking summoner? That the 2 sun-level rebel soldiers were dumbfounded. In the back, Xianyuan Qingqing, who rushed into the cabin with Su Xian, was also stunned. Why can an unemployed person in the starry realm activate the sun-level summoning scroll? And he can do three things at the same time, moving at high speed, chanting spells, and attacking the face. Is this still a human? Only Zhang Mu looked at his master with admiration. Sure enough, the master's realm cannot be seen with the naked eye, the master's strength depends on his imagination. Whoosh! Whoosh! Two silver-white spirit arrows shot out from Su Xian's ring and bracelet. At the same time, the dark elf enchantment effect, shooting correction, on the bracelet was activated, heading straight for the heart of the two rebels. Puff! Puff! Being shot at such a close distance by a spirit arrow equivalent to a peak attack from the Tianhe realm, the two Sun realm rebels had no time to react and were pierced through the chest, falling down with hatred. Before they died, the two stared at Su Xian. They couldn't understand why a summoner from the Starry Realm would have an epic equipment, and they died unjustly. In the distance, other rebels who were attacking the elves were also frightened by the sudden power. Two Sun realm were killed instantly. Did that guy deliberately hide his realm? Su Xian gave the rebels a creepy smile from a distance. The summoning scroll in his hand burned out at this moment. The space fluctuated violently. Behind Su Xian, a huge dark purple energy vortex slowly took shape. A large toad covered with purple bumps jumped out of the space channel and landed at Su Xian's feet. Is that the heaven-swallowing clam? The heaven-swallowing clam has the potential to grow to the marquis level, and is considered the best of the sun-level summoned beasts. How could it be summoned so easily? What I can't accept the most is that he was like nothing happened after summoning. The legendary strongest summoner physique, the Moon Emperor's body is just like this, right? The rebels began to panic. They didn't believe that this was something that a starry realm could do. When the two sides confronted each other, Xianyuan Qingqing also came to Su Xian's side. Looking at Su Xian again, her eyes completely changed, and emotions of shock, reverence, and curiosity intertwined in her heart. Before this, she somewhat felt that Su Xian's achievements as a jobless person were limited. Her worldview was overturned at this moment. Su Xian used his actions to tell her that a jobless person could also be stronger than a full-time professional. The rebels were silent for a long time. The three Tianhe realm leaders were afraid of Su Xian's methods and did not dare to take action. They ordered several Sun realm subordinates to find out the truth. The Sun realm subordinates were panicked, but they did not dare to disobey, so they could only rush forward. Su. Boss Su, can you solve it? Xianyuan Qingqing asked nervously. Su Xian stood with his hands behind his back. He looked calm on the surface, but he was panicking on the inside. Although the Chiman three-piece set is powerful, it takes at least a day to charge the spirit arrow. He now only has one spirit arrow in the Chiman necklace, which cannot be used like this. The remaining spirit arrow must kill a Tianhe realm, only then will there be a chance to cooperate with the elves to counterattack. What is your combat power? Su Xian asked Xianyuan Qingqing next to him. Silver Moon Realm. Xianyuan Qingqing blushed a little. And I'm not very good at fighting, I may not be able to help you. She never thought that one day she would be the one who dragged her down. Then you step back a little. Su Xian smiled slightly. I'm going to start. Xianyuan Qingqing stepped back honestly. On Su Xian's hands, lightning flashed, and thunder spread to Su Xian's whole body. Brother Toad, I'm sorry for you. Su Xian slapped the butt of the heaven-swallowing clam with one palm, and the surging thunder power poured into it. The electrotherapy method stimulated every cell of the heaven-swallowing clam and mobilized his potential. After being stimulated by this, the heaven-swallowing clam, which was already at the peak of the Sun realm, was infinitely close to the Tianhe level. Go! Brother Toad! Use the heaven-swallowing demon mouth. Quack! The heaven-swallowing clam jumped up and jumped across hundreds of meters. Its big mouth opened. There seemed to be a black vortex in its mouth, emitting a strong suction force. It was the innate skill of the heaven-swallowing clam, the heaven-swallowing demon mouth. Facing the heaven-swallowing demon mouth, several Sun realm rebels could only resist bitterly, and all their long-range attacks were sucked into the demon mouth. Behind Su Xian, the mechanical wings opened. He looked at the three Tianhe realm rebel leaders in the distance and said calmly, the Sun realm is not worthy of my attack. All of you, come together. After saying this, the few Sun realm members left in the rebel army breathed a sigh of relief. no matter whether the Star Realm member on the opposite side was pretending or not, they didn't want to face this kind of evildoer anyway. The three Tianhe realm leaders looked at each other. They all saw a strong fear in each other's eyes. The two spiritual arrows sent earlier were an absolute threat to them, and they didn't dare to bet on whether the Star Realm was pretending. What? Don't you even have the courage to attack me? Su Xian followed the trend. He exuded a domineering aura. If the other party really wants all three of them to come together, he will definitely run away. Even if he is a master, he won't care so much. How disappointing, Su Xian said calmly. Since you don't dare to take action, then I will personally harvest your lives. This sentence has a loud voice. Not only could the rebels hear it, but the elves could also hear it clearly. Atana heard it too. She just hesitated for a moment and then decisively ordered, Su Xian will rush over later, and we will immediately cooperate with him to launch a counterattack. Do you understand? Holy girl, there are 3 Tianhe realm members in the Blue Star rebel army. Are you sure you want to take action? An elf asked. This is our only chance. Atana's eyes flickered. Besides, Su Xian helped us. If we don't do anything, how can we face the elf god? Kill. The moment Su Xian rushed over, all the elves rushed out at the same time, blowing the horn of counterattack. Atana's 2 guarding soldiers even burned their lives. Hear the cries of the elves. Su Xian breathed a sigh of relief. If the elves continued to wait and see, then he really had no choice but to jump ship and find another way to make a living. Fortunately, these elves are not too stupid. Taking advantage of the low morale of the rebels, now is the best time to counterattack. Chapter 37 I Can Do This Too. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Commander, what should we do? Faced with the two-sided attack of Su Xian and the elves, the rebels were at a loss for a moment, especially the summoner who looked weak but had a terrifying momentum. They really didn't have the courage to face him. Line up to defend. The 3 Tianhe realm commanders didn't want to fight Su Xian, so they simply switched from offense to defense. As long as we hold on for a while, and wait for Lord Huolang Ho and the 3-headed flame dragon to deal with Lord Bingyu and that damn elf, the victory will still be in our hands. But didn't the superiors ask us to resolve the battle as soon as possible? If the reinforcements from the human race and the Moonlight Tavern arrive, none of us can escape. The 3 Tianhe realms had different opinions. The commander who proposed defense cursed, I have no objection to you wanting to fight, whoever proposed it will deal with that guy. The other 2 commanders were silent. No one wanted to die. They were rebels, not fanatical and brainless cultists. They pledged their loyalty to the alien world to gain more powerful power, not to die. Then defend. The 3 people reached a consensus. The rebels quickly formed a defensive formation. This also fulfilled the wishes of Su Xian and the elves. The elves are good at spells and shooting, and their ability to charge head-on is one of the weakest races. The rebels formed a defensive formation, which undoubtedly became a living target for the elves. Whoosh! 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 Hundreds of bows and arrows with elemental magic shot at the rebels, like a storm, without stopping. At this point, the disadvantages of the rebels began to emerge. On weekdays, the rebels were scattered all over the place and did not dare to hold large-scale gatherings, let alone collective training. Except for the elite troops, most of the rebels were more than 1 level weaker than the well-trained elves in tactics. This is also one of the reasons why they have an absolute advantage in numbers but have not been able to attack the elves for a long time. The advantage of the rebels is that they are human beings. Before knowing their true identities, others have little precautions against them. They can use the trust of their compatriots to kill them unexpectedly. Once they lose this advantage, the rebels who do not know each other and fight on their own will definitely not be able to defeat normal forces and armies. When the elves were holding back the rebels, Su Xian finally joined the elves. Su Xian. Seeing Su Xian, Atana was very happy. Thank you for saving us. Su Xian waved his hand. You're welcome, I'm also saving myself. Jumping off the spaceship is also dangerous. It's better to choose to fight here. Yeah. Atana nodded gently. She knew that Su Xian was good at understanding the spirits, and he said this deliberately in order not to burden her psychologically. Su Xian is so good. Suddenly, I feel that the inexplicable attraction on him has become stronger. The eyes of other elves looking at Su Xian are also full of admiration, kindness, and even fanaticism. Su Xian glanced at Etana, who blushed for some reason, and wondered in his heart, do elves have a natural flushing physique? He said it was self-saving. The elves didn't seem to believe it. Get ready to break the formation. Su Xian didn't want to talk to the elves anymore. Dealing with the rebels was the most important thing at the moment. He looked at the two Tianhe elves. Can your bows and arrows penetrate the rebels' formation defense? Yes, they can, but there is a limit. The Tianhe elf said, we elves can guide and gather the natural energy of heaven and earth. The more natural energy we gather, the more powerful the elemental arrows will be, but the guiding process cannot be interrupted, otherwise it will be backfired. If we rashly guide the energy of heaven and earth, we are likely to be counterattacked by the rebels. At that time, Su Xian understood. This is similar to the principle of the three-piece set of Chimen he wore. You guide now, I will protect you. Listen to Su Xian. Etana also said. The two Tianhe elves nodded. They pulled their longbows, chanted obscure spells, and the natural energy around them began to gather towards them. Su Xian frowned. Too slow, not enough time. I'll help them. Etana responded immediately. Etana opened her arms, lifted her feet off the ground, and floated in the air. Behind her, the illusory wings of the elves were faintly visible. Etana, who was already extremely beautiful, was shrouded in the holy light of nature, adding a bit of ethereal beauty, like a goddess from the 9 heavens. The natural energy of heaven and earth gathered around her, forming an energy vortex with a diameter of more than 3 meters. The energy was divided into two and fell into the longbows of the two Tianhe realm elves. The elemental arrows on the longbows shone more and more. And their power increased greatly. So that's it. Su Xian looked at Etana thoughtfully, and he had a general understanding of the way Etana gathered the energy of heaven and earth. I'll help you too. Su Xian stretched out his left arm, and thunder surged on his palm, and an energy vortex slowly formed in his palm. The vortex expanded, 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters, in just a few breaths. The energy vortex gathered by Su Xian surpassed Etana's vortex, and it was still growing. It grew to a diameter of 10 meters before it stopped. The energy was also divided into two and poured into the longbows of the two Tianhe realm elves. The longbows became dazzling and radiated amazing power. At this moment, the eyes of the elves looking at Su Xian completely changed. It was as if they were devout believers looking up to their god. They couldn't believe that a human's physique could be closer to nature than the saint of the elves. At this time, the rebels finally reacted. They were about to launch a counterattack, but 2 elemental spirit arrows were shot out from the full moon longbow, carrying violent lightning, and arrived in front of them in the blink of an eye. The 3 rebel leaders were all dead. Puff. The formation was shot through by an arrow. The other arrow penetrated the formation, and pierced through the bodies of more than a dozen rebels. Boom. Then, the basic spell skill element ignition attached to the bow and arrow was activated. The 2 arrows exploded at the same time. The rebels were scared and fled in all directions, and they were blown to pieces. Those rebels with lower realms were directly annihilated in the elemental explosion, leaving only a few Sun realm and Tianhe realm, and they all suffered a certain degree of damage. The 3 rebels looked gloomy. They had learned about the intelligence of the elves before coming. According to the data, the elves' charged spell arrows need at least 10 minutes, and they have enough time to interrupt. But with the blessing of Su Xian and the saint of the elves, the charging time was greatly shortened, so that when they just realized something was wrong and prepared to counterattack, the charging was already completed, from advantage to disadvantage, all thanks to the man standing in front of the elves. Isn't that a summoner? How can he also have the exclusive skill of the elemental mage, the great energy guidance technique? Is this person deliberately trying to trick us? If he is not a powerful man pretending to be a marquis, I will die with my eyes open. The 3 people were unwilling. At this point, they could only bite the bullet. If they continued to defend, they would be shot through sooner or later. Su Xian smiled at the rebels. Until this moment, the rebels thought about fighting desperately, but unfortunately, it was too late. Chapter 38, Picking Up a Bargain and Becoming a Marquis. The chaos ends. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The battle in the cabin also attracted the attention of the four marquises on the battlefield above. Su Xian's entry reversed the clear situation of the rebels. Bing Yuho, the human marquis guarding the spaceship, thought that he would lose this battle, but he didn't expect that there was such a mysterious person hidden in the cabin. He looked at Huolang Ho and laughed. Huolang, you have calculated everything, but you didn't expect this, right? Why don't you get out of here? Otherwise, once my human reinforcements arrive, the 12 pillars of the rebels will become 11 pillars. Huolang Ho sneered, before your reinforcements arrive, it's enough to solve it. I can't do anything to you, but that elf can't stop the three-headed flame dragon. The two turned their eyes to another battlefield at the same time. The elf in the marquis realm was completely at a disadvantage at this moment. Facing the three-headed flame dragon, his attack power was obviously not enough and his defense was also weak. He could attack countless times, but as long as he made a mistake once and was sprayed by the flames of the three-headed flame dragon, he would be seriously injured immediately. At first, the Feng Ho elf was able to deal with the three-headed fire dragon with his high-speed movement and flexibility, but as his physical strength continued to decline, he gradually showed signs of weakness. It was difficult for the bow and arrow to cause effective damage to the three-headed fire dragon. The only charged spell arrow that could penetrate the fire dragon's defense had no chance to be cast. Roar. The three-headed fire dragon roared, and 3 heads spewed out 3 flames of different colors from 3 directions. At the same time, it vibrated its wings and grabbed the Feng Ho elf with blazing flames on its claws. Previously, the Feng Ho elf had dodged every time with its high-speed movement, but this time, he was a step slower and failed to dodge the claws of the fire dragon. Puff! The Feng Ho elf was hit by a claw and fell downwards. Bing Yuho's face changed drastically. The Feng Ho elf was defeated. In a 1-on-2 situation, he had no chance of winning. Is it over? That the elf looked down with hatred in his eyes, and his eyes showed a determination to die. His vitality was fading at an alarming speed. At the same time, the light green pupils gradually became brighter, and the eyes were filled with golden light. Golden lines appeared on the face and body. Even the longbow in his hand turned golden. The next second, the marquis elf stopped falling, pulling the bow like a full moon. Flame dragon. Today I will shoot you out. 3 arrows transformed from light elements gathered on the longbow and shot out suddenly, shooting at the 3 heads of the flame dragon. Puff. Puff. The arrows that came at a high speed hit the left and right heads of the flame dragon, and exploded with a bang, breaking off the 2 heads of the flame dragon. But the arrow in the middle was blocked by a purple flame from the flame dragon. The forbidden technique of the elves' life sacrifice is well known, and the 3-headed flame dragon has long been prepared. It would rather break 2 heads than block the desperate attack of the elves. Anyway, as long as it has 1 head, the other 2 heads can grow. Roar. The 3-headed fire dragon roared again, and the flames turned into a long rainbow, piercing through the sky and attacking the dying elf. The golden lines on the elf's body slowly faded, the golden light in his eyes disappeared, the pupils became dim and life force was weakened to the extreme. The 3-headed fire dragon looked down on him. The long rainbow-like flames pierced through the elf's body, leaving not even a wisp of ash. Elf? Bah! The 3-headed fire dragon spoke in human language. As the main war faction in the game world, the Subdragon clan extremely hates the elves. In their eyes, the status of the elves is like the status of the rebels in Blue Star. The main war faction treats the elves as anyone can kill them. Killing the marquis elf, the 3-headed fire dragon felt relieved. Just when it thought everything was over, a strong sense of crisis suddenly hit its heart. Above the sky, a spiritual arrow with golden light broke through the air. A trace of horror flashed in the huge pupils of the flame dragon. Damn elves, they are still jumping around even though they have turned into ashes. Swoosh! The spiritual arrow passed through the clouds and arrived in front of the 3-headed flame dragon in the blink of an eye. The latter spit out a mouthful of blood-colored flames, and at the same time used its wings to protect itself, and its entire body curled up into a circle. The blood-colored flame is the strongest move of the flame dragon, but it still did not block the arrow. Puff! The spiritual arrow passed through the wings and shot at the only remaining head of the 3-headed flame dragon. But the power was not enough to be fatal, and the 3-headed flame dragon finally resisted. The 3-headed flame dragon spread its wings, and blood was sprinkled in the sky. On the head, serous fluid was oozing out. It seemed that even flying became laborious, and it was obviously seriously injured. Ha ha ha. I still won. The three-headed flame dragon laughed wildly, and he looked at the surviving elves below, with a fierce look. You will pay a heavy price for this. The voice stopped abruptly. Puff. Another spiritual arrow came through. This arrow accurately shot into the top of the flame dragon's head, which was already as thin as paper. It shot in through the gap left by the elves before, and pierced through the only remaining head of the flame dragon. The flame dragon's consciousness became blurred, and it fell downwards. It saw a person soaring in the sky. It was the human in the starry realm. It was completely attracted by the 4 arrows sacrificed by the elves, and it didn't realize that a weak human had lurked beside it. And when it was the weakest, it gave it a precise and fatal blow. No, that the three-headed flame dragon was unwilling, and its body began to burn. Even if it sacrificed its life, it wanted the human in front of it to be buried with it. The fire dragon sacrificed its life, and every piece of its flesh and blood turned into flames. It was like a small sun, emitting amazing hot energy. Whoosh. The little sun roared in, bringing with it a majestic pressure, leaving Su Xian no way to avoid it. Below, the elves, Xianyuan Qingqing, and Zhang Mu looked at this scene helplessly. Bing Yuho was also unable to extricate himself. He could only watch as this person he had never met changed the situation on the entire battlefield, protected the saint of the elves, annihilated the rebels, and saved the face of the officialdom. But such a hero was going to fall here. The little sun exploded. The extreme high temperature turned the sky into a misty piece, and even the clouds on the horizon were dispersed. It seemed to burn everything in the world. That kind of power was terrifying, and even the 2 powerful marquises in another battlefield felt a strong threat. The explosion lasted for a long time. Huolanghu sighed, and he had no time to explore whether the person in the explosion was alive or dead, with the rebel army completely wiped out and 3 fire dragons sacrificed. He could not take the elven saint away under Bing Yuho's nose. He could only retreat. Whoosh. Bing Yuho, you win this time. Huolanghu fled quickly and turned into a long rainbow. Bing Yuho did not pursue him. The situation was not stable yet, so he did not dare to pursue him. He looked at the center of the explosion. The fire gradually dissipated. The sky slowly became clear. In the smoke, he saw a water blue circle. The next moment, Bing Yuho widened his eyes. He saw it. The man walked out of the circle, emitting a soft light like a bright moon, and was intact. Even his hair was not messed up. Warm reminder: if you find that clicking the next page will force you to jump to other websites, please use the chapter error or contact us at the bottom to let us know. We will handle it as soon as possible. Thank you for your understanding. Chapter 39 Senior Sister from Primary School. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Su Xian walked out of the smoke and dust. He held a water blue jade pendant in his hand. The jade pendant, which was originally full of color, seemed a little dim at this time, but Su Xian could still feel the strong energy fluctuations in it. Bing Yuho came forward and clasped his fists and said, Son Bingyu of the Hero Association, thank you for your rescue. You're welcome, I'm just protecting myself. Su Xian clasped his fists in return. Anyway, you should be the first to save the elf saint and save the large passenger ship of the Hero Association. Bing Yuho said, I will apply to the top management of the Hero Association to express my gratitude for your brave behavior and compensate you for your losses in this battle. Please tell me your name. Wuji Sanren, Su Xian. Su Xian did not refuse. If you don't want to refuse the reward, it would be good to give it to a few apprentices. Wuji Sanren. Bing Yuho was shocked. Su Xian's performance just now was not the combat power that a Wuji Sanren should have. He couldn't see Su Xian's true or false. In his heart, he was even more unwilling to believe that Su Xian was only a star realm. Even if Su Xian is really only in the starry realm, he must have an unimaginable huge backer behind him. Mr. Su, let's exchange contact information. I will notify you as soon as the association's compensation comes. Bing Yuho spoke very officially, saying, the spaceship is currently damaged. I still need to repair it and bring it back to Longdu. You can go back to the spaceship to rest first. See you in Longdu. After that, Bing Yuho went to the power cabin of the spaceship. Su Xian also returned to the cabin of the spaceship. The spare protective shield slowly started, and the spaceship gradually returned to stability. Zhang Mu, Xianyuan Qingqing, and a group of elves rushed up when they saw Su Xian return. Sorry. Su Xian apologized to the elves, I couldn't save him. Yatana had tears in her eyes and choked, you have done a good job. Lucas will return to the embrace of nature with a smile. The other elves also thanked Su Xian. The death of the Marquis elf Lucas made them sad, but they also knew that if Su Xian hadn't turned the tide, it would not only be Lucas who died today, even their saint had to die here. The saint was able to survive, which was the best outcome. Su Xian, we still need to chant the prelude of nature for Lucas, so we can't stay with you for long. When the spaceship arrives in Longdu, I will pay you the most sincere respects of the elves. Atana said, chanting the prelude of nature is a ritual of the elves to commemorate the deceased. Su Xian felt a little touched by Lucas' death, but it was impossible to empathize with him. After he simply expressed his condolences, he didn't bother the elves, wait for the elves to leave. Zhang Mu came up with his eyes shining. Master, you were so handsome just now. In such a big explosion, your hair was not messed up. You walked out of the flames, like a phoenix reborn from the ashes. It's a pity that I didn't take a picture. If junior sister Xiaoli saw it, she would definitely drool at your handsomeness. Ahem. Su Xian coughed twice. He believed that his eldest disciple would not flatter him and said the truth. It seems that he is indeed handsome. Xianyuan Qingqing also stared at Su Xian blankly, wanting to say something but stopping. She didn't speak, and Su Xian didn't speak either. After a long time, Xianyuan Qingqing stammered, Su. Boss Su, can you shock me? Huh? Shocking you? Su Xian cast a strange look. Xianyuan Qingqing blushed and said, just now, the trick you used to shock the heaven-swallowing clam, can you use it to shock me? Su Xian's eyes became even stranger. As if to say, are you a masochist? Xianyuan Qingqing took a deep breath. She didn't expect that she, who was praised as a female man by her classmates and regarded as a brother by boys, would actually stammer one day. She explained, Boss Su, you also know that I am an alchemist, a super fanatic one. I think your electric shock technique is very suitable for some of my biological research projects, and I want to try the effect. Su Xian finally felt Xianyuan Qingqing's fanatical pursuit of alchemy. A nice little girl actually wanted to test electricity with her body, but it was okay, it was just what he wanted. Are you sure? Sure. Xianyuan Qingqing stretched her legs straight and left her back to Su Xian. Are you ready? I'm going to start. Su Xian said. Come on. Xianyuan Qingqing gritted her teeth, waiting for the coming impact. Electric light flickered on Su Xian's fingers. He stretched out his index finger and gently pressed on Xianyuan Qingqing's back. The latter let out a moan. A tingling feeling spread throughout the body. All the cells in the body were dancing, even the bones were itchy, a little painful, but also comfortable, making people unable to stop. Straight to the top of the cloud. Xianyuan Qingqing's face flushed. She tried to keep her mind and not make a shameful sound. 5 minutes later, Xianyuan Qingqing recovered from the electrotherapy state. The blush on her face faded, and the light in her eyes lit up. She was sure that this was what she wanted. Boss Su, I want to buy this. Xianyuan Qingqing said firmly, name a price and sell this secret technique to me. My ancestors' secret technique will never be passed on to others. Su Xian said cautiously. I can exchange it with you for a secret technique of the marquis level. Xianyuan Qingqing gritted his teeth and made a condition. Su Xian raised his eyebrows. Do you think I will lack those things? You want me to become your teacher? Xianyuan Qingqing understood. Su Xian smiled and said nothing. Xianyuan Qingqing looked at Su Xian, and there was a war between heaven and man in her heart. It seems that it is not impossible to worship Su Xian as his teacher. Su Xian was also the first man to make her change her mind countless times in one day. His talent was also an unprecedented monster, except that he could not teach her alchemy. In other respects, being her teacher is more than enough. She has never admitted defeat in her life, but Su Xian's performance today completely impressed her. Teacher, please bow to me as a disciple. Xianyuan Qingqing finally strengthened her heart, knelt down and performed the apprenticeship ceremony. Good. Su Xian smiled, since you join my Su Xian sect, I will give you the secret technique, electrotherapy. He stretched out his finger and tapped Xianyuan Qingqing's forehead. Those who are above the starry realm can already use spiritual imprints to teach skills and secrets that are lower than the realms of both parties. It is more effective than scroll records and oral teaching. Thank you, teacher, for the teaching. Xianyuan Qingqing's attitude is correct. After becoming a disciple of Su Xian, he was very adaptable and put himself in the position of his disciple. Su Xian nodded slightly and pointed to Zhang Mu next to him. Zhang Mu is my eldest disciple and your senior brother. Xianyuan Qingqing pursed her lips and said bravely, I have met senior brother. She just called Zhang Mu's smelly brother. In the blink of an eye, the stinky younger brother became the elder brother. No matter how kind-hearted she was, she still felt quite ashamed. Su Xian smiled meaningfully. You also have a second senior sister who is studying in elementary school in Dinghai King City. I will take you to meet her when I have time. Elementary school. At this time, Xianyuan Qingqing's expression was completely unbearable. Second senior sister, she can understand. What the hell is going to elementary school? She is a dignified senior at Longdu Academy, and she actually wants to recognize a primary school student as her senior sister. How did you get this out of your mouth? Junior sister Qingqing. Zhang Muhan smiled and said, don't worry about it. Junior sister Xiaoli is very cute. Oh, Xianyuan Qingqing was about to cry. He silently ran to the deck and drew a circle, but he didn't know who he was cursing. Chapter 40 Projects that benefit primary and secondary school students across the country. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Evening, the spaceship arrived in Longdu. Standing on the spaceship, Su Xian overlooked the entire Longdu city. He had seen videos and pictures about Longdu in the materials, which were already spectacular. Today he saw it with his own eyes. He realized that all records were not as good as seeing it with his own eyes. The grandeur of Longdu, the scenery of the world's first city, is far from being recorded by a video or a few pictures. It is like the most magnificent epic. It amazes the whole world. High-rise buildings stand tall and soar into the sky. The streets and alleys are also advanced holographic technology, with bright neon lights. Here, alchemy dolls and intelligent machines have replaced ordinary labor, and everything has become more efficient. The spaceship landed at the spacious Longdu airport. Su Xian took his two disciples off the spaceship. He did not leave with the Alpha Tana, nor did he follow Bing Yuho to the Hero Association. Those places were too lively, and he didn't like them. The three masters and apprentices walked out of the airport quietly. Longdu is nearly 10,000 times larger than Qingzhou City. In the city, land transportation is still popular. Cars, flying cars, and buses all exist. It's just that the drivers have been replaced by officially developed alchemy dolls or intelligent robots, and some routes are unmanned. Walking on the road, elves, giants, dwarves, orcs and other races in the game world or newly born races after intermarriage with humans can be seen everywhere. Zhang Mu showed his curiosity at this moment. He couldn't hide his shock in his heart when he looked at every place. He grew up in Qingzhou City, and it wasn't until he stepped into here that he knew that people live in the same world, but the difference is so great, for many people in small towns. Longdu is already another world. The three of them came all the way to Longdu Academy. Hello, senior sister. Good evening, senior sister Qingqing. Senior sister, are you bringing friends to visit the school? Qingqing, is your boyfriend so handsome? Along the way, many students greeted Xianyuan Qingqing enthusiastically. Qingqing, you're popular. Su Xian smiled. He thought that his third child, as a fanatical alchemist, should be more withdrawn, but it seems that Xianyuan Qingqing is quite popular in school. Of course. Xianyuan Qingqing raised her head proudly. Many of the medicines I refine are provided to my juniors for free. Zhang Mu was surprised. Junior sister, you treat them as experimental subjects, right? Xianyuan Qingqing rolled her eyes. You are the only one who talks too much. The three of them chatted and arrived at the admissions director's office. Dad, I'm back. Xianyuan Qingqing pushed open the door. In the office, Xianyuan Dali was practicing Sonda skills and asked with a smile, how is the matter going? Here, I brought the people. Xianyuan Qingqing invited Su Xian and Zhang Mu into the room. Let me introduce you solemnly. This is my teacher Su Xian, and the one next to him is my senior brother Zhang Mu. The smile on Xianyuan Dali's face froze. Didn't you ask your daughter to go out and kidnap someone? How was she kidnapped by someone else? Xianyuan Qingqing said with a smile, Teacher, senior brother, this is my father Xianyuan Dali, you guys chat slowly, I'm going to the lab first, goodbye. Back at the academy, Xianyuan Qingqing couldn't let go of her alchemy project for a moment, so she changed into a blue scientific research suit and went straight to the lab. Brother Su, sit down. Xianyuan Dali was cheerful and didn't mind too much. Since his daughter became Su Xian's disciple, he simply called Su Xian a brother of the same generation. Okay. Su Xian smiled and sat down calmly. Zhang Mu stood aside stiffly. Xianyuan Dali looked at him a few times. He is a good physical training seedling. If he hadn't become your disciple, brother Su, I would have wanted to accept him as my apprentice. Su Xian joked, Zhang Mu, it seems that you are also very popular. Zhang Mu laughed a few times and didn't say anything. Brother Su, I'm a rough man, I won't beat around the bush, I'll just tell you straight. Xianyuan Dali went straight to the point, the set of physical skills you developed inspired me deeply. After the modification, it may become the 8th set of comprehensive basic physical skills for compulsory education nationwide. Can you please stay at Longdu Academy for a few days so that we can study together? I have asked the school's casting master to help improve the quality of your 1000-machine umbrella, and I will definitely satisfy you. Su Xian understood, since brother Xianyuan has said this, I will be disrespectful. Okay. Please, Xianyuan Dali laughed and invited Su Xian to enter his private training room. Zhang Mu was also allowed to follow and observe. In the training room, all kinds of training equipment are available. Xianyuan Dali took off his coat, showing his tall and burly figure, turned on the holographic image, and played a video for Su Xian. It was the 7 sets of basic physical skills used in compulsory education nationwide before. These physical skills were at least created by martial arts masters of the marquis level. After many tests, each generation is stronger than the previous one. Zhang Mu, practice the young eagle takes off once. Su Xian ordered. Yes, master. Zhang Mu responded respectfully and began to practice the young eagle takes off move by move. Xianyuan Dali watched and praised repeatedly. Now Zhang Mu performs the young eagle takes off smoothly, but Xianyuan Dali still saw many problems at a glance. It was not that Zhang Mu had problems with his training, but that he had problems with physical skills adaptability. Xianyuan Dali commented. Some parts of this physical skill are not universal. For example, the 3rd section will cause blood to flow backwards. Students with weaker physical foundations may suffer irreversible damage during practice due to non-standard movements. The movements from the 6th to the 7th section must be perfect to be effective. Warriors or fighters may be able to do it easily, but archers and mages are quite difficult. The last section requires a calm mind to mobilize the whole body and complete the closing posture. More than 99% of students cannot do this. These all need to be modified to reach universal standards. Brother Su, what do you think of my opinion? Very right. Su Xian smiled and nodded. That's all. Xianyuan was stunned. Brother Su, don't you want to talk about your opinion? I'll practice it directly. Su Xian stood up, asked Zhang Mu to step aside, and practice the move of young eagle takes off himself. If Zhang Mu's practice is smooth, then Su Xian's practice can be called superb. Every move and every form seemed to be integrated into the nature of heaven and earth, which made people intoxicated. Even Xianyuan Dali, a Sanda master, had to admire it. No matter which physical master came, it would be impossible to do better than Su Xian. It seemed to be born for Su Xian. Pa. Xianyuan Dali applauded generously to express his amazement. Watch it again. After Su Xian finished the first rehearsal, he did not stop, but continued to practice the second time. Watching the moves performed by Su Xian the second time, Xianyuan Dali's expression changed little by little. If the first time only made him amazed, the second time was enough to convince him. he remembered the communication his daughter sent to him during the day: "This Su Xian is not a human. He is simply a peerless monster."